control initialized.
Hey people, 5 Aces here. The Red Alert Global League Season 3 has almost ended, but there is one last thing left to do, and 2 people are gonna settle a score here. To give a bit of context here, there are 2 players in Minions League A and Minions League B who have just risen through the ranks, busted their way through the division, and have ended the season with only 1 loss and 0 losses respectively. And they're gonna face off against each other in a best of 5 for the last spot in Masters. They have taken the hidden path to Masters, and they actually both deserve it, but there is only, as the Highlander said, there is only one. And coincidentally, those 2 are actually real-life brothers. So this is gonna be really, really exciting. This is an actual brothers matchup between brothers, and they're Brits. Right, as we see the first casualties here. So let's introduce them without further ado. We've got wearing the purple of the Brits, Happy, or Rexy as we used to call him, or used to call himself. And his opponent is Juicebox. Now Juicebox I haven't casted as much, and that's simply for the reason that he doesn't seem to like posting his replays as much as Rexy does. So Rexy seems to be more of the extrovert amongst the 2 brothers. But they're both fantastic players. I've watched Juicebox play a lot. I've played him a couple times. He's a really stern and good player. So those 2 are actually really gonna be even in skill level. And it's a best of 5, so there's gonna be a scoreboard here. And for those who are interested, I'm going to bring up, in post-production obviously, I'm going to bring up the standings of the Red Alert Global League Masters. And yeah, 11 players, 1 is still missing. We're gonna find out who it is right here, right now. Double ref opener for both, nothing too fancy. Also, it's not only a brothers matchup, but it's also a matchup where Juicebox is the player who usually loves going for Russia or Ukraine, and Happy usually loves going for the Allies, specifically Brits, probably for patriotic reasons. Juicebox being the more pragmatic one there. But they're allowed to swap factions, because this is still a Minions League match. You're not hard set on your factions, so you can, you can still switch it around a bit. If you decide that you're losing too much as Soviets or as allies, you can still transition over into your opponent's faction. So we're gonna see how this pans out. Quite the quiet early game so far. Oh, a dog camping from Juicebox. This is so annoying. Happy doesn't have this on the radar. So I guess the engineer is just gonna get gobbled up as soon as he gets to his second Derrick. In the meantime, we have a very safe Derrick route for Juicebox. By the way, this map is Agenda. This is one of my favorite maps, actually. Surprisingly enough, I thought I would hate this map, but then it turned out this allows for lots of early game action. It's not just blob foo, it's also much decision making about how you're gonna take your Derricks, what route you're gonna take. Much like Company of Heroes. I'm liking it. First small push here with the light tank from Happy. And the light vehicle is going to give him an advantage here that he shouldn't squander by running into a rocket soldier. That's always a bit risky. Does get 0 crushes so far. Ooh, the rockets missed though. And an immediately deployed MCV by Juicebox. He has to bail out of here. The MCV getting chased away. But this is now a field day for the mobile flag, providing more vision. I think the best thing that Happy can do here is just stop. Press stop, and maybe just try and throw a force fire in there, because the line of sight advantage from the flag truck is going to allow for a clean wipe, tabula rasa here for Juicebox. Now, as for their playstyle, failed rally point by the way. As for their playstyles, Juicebox has used this moment of confusion to just rally point his engineer to take all the Derricks. And here we have a dog with a stripe of veterancy, so amidst all this confusion, the engineer has gone down as well from Happy. So not a good start for him at all. This is looking so good for Juicebox. We're gonna take a look at the combat stats after this. This is 6k over 1k. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily over, but because it ain't over till it's over. But yeah, it's not looking too hot for him anymore. Juicebox has got the mass advantage. He has retained his MCV, right? What the hell? Wait a sec. He had a second MCV. No, I see what happened. It was his original MCV that he just wanted to move forward. That's why he didn't have a defensive structure queued up, because his original MCV was supposed to be moved out and after building the service depot. So instead he has to rely on the secondary MCV that is gonna come in. Still good stuff. And he's got a lot of field presence here, so there is no way for Happy to push through here, and even if he manages to find a flank, which is gonna take a while, then that's not a good move, because then Juicebox can just push in with his overwhelming mass here. Also interesting to note that Juicebox has not opted for heavy tanks yet. As we speak, there's probably one spawning. Yeah, that's his first, but 5 minutes 30 and no heavy tanks, that's kind of a light army composition. So he was probably expecting to get more work done with the mobile flags there. And Happy immediately doing the lorry driver eco slide, or the... I just call it lorry driver because he was the first one to introduce the OpenRA. Obviously, people have done it in countless strategy games before. It's just where you... As soon as you have your expansion out, you also pull harvesters, you poop down the refinery, and then you just move on. And this refinery is in the back lines. It's easy to snipe, yeah, but like it's in such a position that you can easily get collapsed upon if you overcommit with a big army. And speaking of big armies, look at Juicebox's vetted up squad here. That's a goon squad if I ever saw one. That's one magnitude above a goon squad. That's more like a full-fledged platoon, I'd say. Juicebox probably having to micro the tanks in front. No, doesn't even give a fuck. Yeah, infantry, go tank for me. I'm just here in the backlines. I'm a heavy tank. Oh, and the score discrepancy is speaking for itself here. 127 over 17. 7,700 over 1.7k. Not looking too hot. Also, amidst all this, wow, Juicebox has actually snuck the engineer down bottom side and captured one of the oil derricks away from Happy, who is now not a happy camper, excuse the terrible pun. Happy's gonna be pretty unhappy about this. And as soon as the as Juicebox's base push is gonna start on the bottom side, I don't see any chance for Happy to bring it back here. There's gonna be the MCV, that's his third MCV, yeah. There's gonna be a base push, he's trying for a counterattack, doesn't know about the base push yet, mind you. So here she goes. I'd actually pull the other one as well. Alright, that's an all-in move. And Happy pretty much has to make something work here. He has to either... Oh, another MCV spawning. That's not what you need right now. He needs artilleries, but he's not on radar tech. The only war factory going down, and thus probably denying the chance at any comeback. Here is, here is army number 2. Oh, that was full of something. Must have been like, must have been Grens maybe, due to the cost. That's a small army. What? What an overcommitment. This is a small-sized army. Juicebox can just forfeit this base. This is, in my opinion, this is a big mistake here. He's overreacting so hard to this medium-sized push. He should just pull his harvesters and let a small part of his army do its bidding. But in the meantime, he's not been able to commence his push or to continue his push. So we've got war factory down for war factory down, an insane amount of rifle infantry, rocket soldiers, just the standard stuff, you know. But in such magnitudes out here for Juicebox, this is gonna be disgusting. And wow, Happy's actually pulled his secondary con yard up there and just started base push at the same time. So this is actually way of an overcommitment from Juicebox. Pulling his entire army, not a smart move. Juicebox probably trying to get for some crushes though. That's like, what are there? 3 rocket soldiers, that's nothing. That's nothing, man. Oh wow, and in the meantime, Happy has managed to push away the MCV. So, the game is evened up. Game is evened up. The refinery is still standing though, and that's a big deal. And also, oh, Juicebox's MCV completely out of position, trying to get a hold of or a foothold here in this pocket of the map, but it's just not in the cards. And this is probably evened up now. 26 over 25, and the econ tab is telling us, wow, Juicebox came out, like got the short end of the stick here. Interesting, Happy came out ahead. Maybe it's because his eco wasn't touched, yeah. So a big mistake by Juicebox is not immediately going for the base kill here. He had the army, he easily had critical mass to push through, but he was too hesitant, and then he just overcommitted into stopping the push the counter push that was much smaller. So yeah, jeez, that's a comeback if he comes back from this. If Happy comes back from it and takes match 1, I'm gonna be stoked, man. No, in Tesla Coil range, but Tesla Coils, you know, they take a while to do the zapping that they actually need. Ooh. Good zap there. 2 heavily wounded medium tanks. That's pretty much the entire army except for lots of infantry. There's a new one. Hopefully it patches those medium tanks up. They're on a sliver of health here. But just no armor. Juicebox needs more armor. He needs APCs actually, yeah. APCs are a good call. Oh, trying to capture the refinery. But the engineer has been successful in the first place. Now a heavy tank is pulling the entire army out of position, while there is a push being prepared onto the radar dome. The just newly produced radar dome is probably going to go down in a matter of seconds here. And the advanced power plant is not going to change anything about it. This is such a good heavy tank. This has actually baited the entire army out of position. He should just bait into the dog now. I would be so hyped. But there's a collapse. And this is gonna go... I don't know which way it's going, but it's gonna be a lot of collateral damage on both sides. The artillery in the backlines, though. He needs to get the APCs into the artillery stat. Oh, good crushes, good crushes. Focusing down the artillery. He can do it. Yeah, there we go. 3 APCs are actually fairly quick at disposing with artilleries. Yeah, I should take that one as well. There's just no threat at the time being. Oh, he's pulling back. Jeez, I think that's a comeback. Combat stats are now completely bang on even. There is only a difference of 2 riflemen or 1 combat dog betwixt the both of them. But the assets are speaking a different language here. It's 54k over 38k. Man, it's mostly due to Juicebox not being able to re-establish his supply lines there. He needs more eco, he needs more refineries there. Now he's going in with 4 APCs into a massive infantry blob. It's almost never worth it unless the infantry is occupied. The infantry was not occupied. The rocket soldiers had clear shots onto the APCs. And that's a really big swing here. Happy is having his first hideout. This is usually the mid-game power spike. If you're having radar dome, if you're on tier 2 and your opponent is on tier 1, it's that's bad. Let's just say it's bad news on all fronts there. More and more pillboxes being pooped out, and the radar dome, the flame tower is just going down on cooldown. The medics tangling up so many assets here. The medics, look at this. They're healing each other to full, and there is nothing the rifle soldiers can do about it. These medics have actually deterred the flank coming in. There's a small-sized infantry group going to take down the harvesters, so that's a counter eco raid. That's good. But that's Juicebox losing his almost unharvested expansion. That's so bad. And now we're gonna take a look at the econ graph after this has finished. Happy just pulling out in time. Happy being really on point with the MCV undeploys. Man, I really hope this goes into 5 games. I think they're gonna play 5 games regardless of the standings, but I really hope for a 2-2 until the final game. That's what I'm hoping for here. More flame towers, but the flame towers are being immediately popped. He should have deployed them behind the barracks actually. And thus the MCV has to relocate once more. Look for greener pastures, and the Hinds are coming in, closing in, probably killing the Conyard. Yeah, there he goes. Nothing he could have done about this. Maybe could have gotten a cell order off. One more heavy tank falling prey. The other heavy tank should pull back. And yeah, that's just Juicebox being in dire straits here. He completely overestimated the push. And here's tier 3. Tier 3 coming in hot for Happy. He's on a tech center now. And that's the GG for Juicebox. That's the 1-0. Fantastic play by both. Actually, the early game was completely in the hands of Juicebox. He just lost it when he overcommitted into stopping a push that would have killed his base regardless, because that's quite a distance. Look at how long tanks are gonna take to travel over there. It's at least a minute. And in that minute, there was no salvaging the operations here. He should have relocated the MCV and probably kept it in the back of his backyard, in his backyard or something. And he should have actually killed the main base from Happy. There were easily enough assets, and the pillboxes couldn't have come in fast enough. Coming in fast and loose, but not fast enough. So, bit of a blunder by Juicebox, but fantastic game 1. On to game 2.
Battle control terminated. Battle control initialized.
Let the dance commence once again. We're back with round 2. As you can see, the scoreboard has moved. This is the first time I'm using a scoreboard, I believe. Good stuff. And we're on Behind the Veil, one of my favorite and most hated maps at the same time, due to this singular tile here. It's a design decision that is controversial at best, because this allows you to funnel, or your opponent to funnel his entire army into this small crack here, and this fucks up the pathing, and it sometimes just blocks MCVs. As we've seen last season, I don't know if anyone has seen this, I don't think I've casted it. It was one of the most hilarious games when Gatekeeper went for a cheese push versus medium tank. He just went for an infantry all-in off of like 2 refineries, dumped everything into refs, into infantry, had a pretty sizable infantry blob there, with a harvester I believe, and then he just caught medium tank off guard while he was transitioning his harvester and his MCV, so the eco slide, and he turned around his harvester and the MCV. The harvester turned around and was just too slow, and it died exactly on this tile, right? So it was blocking the way for the MCV, and there was a concave of infantry streaming in, killing the only MCV of medium tank. And that was one of the most hilarious cheese pushes I've seen. It was completely lucky. You can't plan for that, but it was great regardless. Yeah. So that's why Behind the Veil is a both loved and hated map for pretty much everyone in the Red Alert Global League. Don't think there are any people who are outspokenly against it, but this design decision, man. Carrillo loves going for maps that sometimes have those small caveats. That's force fire. Oh, that was a good force fire. You know, there's a high chance of there being an opponent. There's a high chance of an opponent camping there, or here respectively. But it was nice preemptive force fire regardless. So Juicebox, kudos for that. And thus Juicebox can capture his oils in an uninterrupted state or fashion. Happy, yeah, double ref, one being sold, and same for Juicebox, who's now in a war factory as well. So the early game, nothing really happening. 2 versus 1. This is a more quiet game. And a civilian. What did he ping there? What? I'm not getting it. Maybe just this patch of dirt. Oh, he got lots of technician. That's Juicebox's technician. What the fuck? Is the technician force fire? All right, buddy. They're just flailing about with their arms. Their 1 cell vision range. I think that those technicians are legally blind. If you just meet those guys in real life, they can't see further than like what's that? 2 meters? A bit more maybe. Like, let's assume that they're 180, so that's like 6 meters. They can see 6 meters. The fuck is that? They're legally blind. Those are like, how many? Yeah, that trees the buddy. Juicebox. Oh, this time Juicebox is the Brits. So maybe they went for random. Let me check that real quick. Okay, Happy went for random allies, and Juicebox went for England straight up. So that's kind of him diverging from his plan there, because I usually see him play Soviets, and they usually see Happy play the allies. Oh, the Ranger here is gonna have a nice split of the army. It's a bit of a problem for Juicebox, because he doesn't know about the existence of this huge army topside. So he might feel completely comfortable and safe until he gets collapsed upon. He's just trying to camp for an MCV here. This map can be a bit punishing in that if you're trying to just rush out another MCV, your opponent can already be camping there. The rush distance is actually fairly short. We're on triple barracks for Juicebox and only 2 barracks for Happy. Still, in this release, they still haven't gotten a price increase, so it's a $400 barracks that's dirt cheap. And he's probably trying to find an engineer somewhere. He should have packed the engineer up. That would have been a good play. If you're already going for a ranger, be sure to bring your engineer. So anyway, just a regular safe expansion for Juicebox. Oh. Oh wow. Despite him being at a disadvantage, I don't think this is a good idea. Because the rocket soldiers were in first, and they took a lot of fire from those rifle infantry. So this was actually a way more even trade than you might assume. Oh, a nice idea. The MCV is sneaking past here, but it's been scouted by the Ranger regardless, who's also managed to pick himself up a kill on the engineer. So no more Engie shenanigans. And here comes Juicebox. He is going to... Oh, wow. He's going to make the space a bit narrow here. Probably trying to camp the original base. But this is a collapse and a half. And the harvesters for the eco slide, they're gonna tank. This is not good for Juicebox here. Yeah, Happy even stopping the ore trucks because he knows he can tank so much fire there. And Juicebox immediately having to pull out. Oh, the MCV limping away. Fortunately, didn't get sniped in the process. But a close call regardless. And one light tank made it through. He can at least get a block. That's something. No, not going for a block, alright. Alright there. So, we're having a repeat of game 1. That's just Juicebox being pushed out of all of his attempts there. Yeah, rip light tank. He's done a good job. You know, he's actually poked down the refinery by 25% health. And a huge army coming in from Happy. The tank count is so low for Juicebox. That's because he usually goes for 2 MCVs before he starts producing tanks. Or maybe it's 1 MCV, 2 tanks, and 1 MCV again. Not sure. But these 2 tanks have no business being there. They should flee to the north. Flee, fools! As Gandalf used to say. Right, he's trying to bunker down with the MCV. So that's a double MCV there. Gonna be interesting. Oh, the rockets are not returning fire there because the medium tanks are too far in the back. This is a good engagement for Happy, who can actually take this. Nah, not anymore with the meat shield down. He should just move back. Maybe snipe the tank. No. He's done the damage. It's okay. Oh, 2 of the harvesters are still idle. Still on hold position. And we've got base push versus base push. But yeah, Juicebox is going to try for the left-right diversion again. He's going to start deploying here. But critical mass for Happy. He can bust through the pillboxes there. And that's a lot of rifle infantry, but nothing to follow it up with. Happy's Connie are taking too much fire. He is undeploying. He is moving back. And this MCV by Juicebox hasn't been scouted yet. He has no idea. And these are 2 real MCVs. So if you're seeing that your opponent has redeployed over there, your first instinct might be to think, oh yeah, he has just moved. He's moved his MCV around. But those are 2 legit MCVs, which doesn't happen all that often. In the meantime, Juicebox should have maybe taken the risk for a blind expansion. He should have taken the gamble, seeing so much army here. Juicebox has expended a lot of resources just trying to deal with this. Here is another pillbox popping. The pills are popping left and right. Which one do you take here? The red pill or the blue pill? Oh man, it's a good movie. Alright, Juicebox has nowhere to go. And the tanks should find the flank here. The reinforcements are streaming in, but it's not enough. The Juicebox's MCV is going down, so he's on 2 MCVs for now, and that's just Happy, just Happy taking them up in a storm, trying to make sure he loses nothing in the process, securing his grounds there, securing his expansions. So Happy is eventually going to have 4 over 2 expansions, so that's going to be a pretty big problem for Juicebox. Unless it does something about it right now. But it's really hard to not misjudge how many forces your opponent is having. Oh, that's a good flank. We saw a couple rocket soldiers going down there, like at least 4. That was a good haul. 3 medium tanks completely unattended, trying to work their way through the entire army of Happy. No sir. And the mobile assets just dwindling. Juicebox is forced to pump so much into defensive structures here. That's 800 for a turret, that's 3,000 for the pillboxes, and this could be a mobile army. This could have been you, son. Yeah, and Happy just expanding as much as he needs to. Still, Juicebox is gonna get a nice cleanup here, and Happy has to leave here. Is this the comeback? Let's see. Nah, he's got another MCV there, and he should secure his eco in given time, in a due amount of time there. Okay, after this engagement is over, we are gonna check the score lines, and they are gonna be 30k over 24k, and the assets are correspondingly lower for Juicebox again, 52 over 42k. He knows he has to actually take this expansion now, or it's over for him, because 2 versus 4 expansions is not something that's gonna fly. This ain't gonna fly, not on my watch. I'd actually love to see some wall play. If he has the MCV there ready to go, wall tiles can be placed further away than defensive structures. I think 6 cells or something, maybe even 8. It's a pretty significant space to work with, and the spacing, if he deploys it here, the spacing can be like this. He deploys a barracks here, deploys a pillbox here, and then he just walls off the entire pillbox line here from Happy. Would best be served in conjunction with a artillery transition, but it's just not in the cards for him. Juicebox is not having the cash right now. Ooh, a lot of rocket infantry there. Probably going to take out the meat shield. No crushes for Happy. Happy's just content letting his tanks sit there and soak the damage. Interesting, but it's gonna cost him his entire front line. The turret may be a questionable decision here. Pillbox would have been served better. Instead, he's targeting the Conyard. Nah, the turret is not gonna get out enough damage. He's not gonna output like 2000 damage in that short of a time span. No, sir. I think this is easily going towards Happy. Yep, who's gonna take this engagement in a storm? He's got the artillery transition as well. Is there a Radar Dome? No tier 2 for Juicebox. And I think that just seals the deal. He was first to get to both expansions and first to take to artilleries. Juicebox recognizing the situation, he finds himself in a pickle there. And game 2 goes over to Happy as well, so that's a 2-0. And the way I'm gonna do this is already like 30 minutes, so I'm probably gonna split up the casts. So, we're gonna have a cliffhanger here. Is Happy gonna seal it off with the 3-0, or is Juicebox gonna come back? Is it gonna be best of 5 or a best of 3? Find out next week on the show. Thanks for watching, guys. 5 aces out. I don't usually do this. I hate clickbaiting, but it was just so fitting right there. And yeah, this is a master spot that is on the line here. So I'm really keen to see how this plays out. And thanks for watching for now. See ya.
Battle control terminated.